It's been a while since we've done a Ninjago project, huh?
Yeah.
I got an idea if we want to make it. Be pretty cool? Okay. Out of all of the projects that I've made over the last 4 years, anything Ninjago is always the most requested thing I get asked to do more of. And if you've seen all the videos on my channel, it's easy to see that those are the most popular builds. So when I kept getting requests to do the Oni masks, I wanted to do something different than just carve them out like I had done with all of the golden weapons. I happen to have a couple pieces of spare walnut in my scrap bin, and so I thought I'd make use of that and combine it with this project to make these walnut art pieces. This is a pretty straightforward and simple project, so if you want to do it yourself, a couple things you'll need are a K40 laser, some pieces of walnut, and acrylic paint or paint pens. Like I do with a lot of my projects, what I did is went to go pick some reference shots and then bring them into Inkscape and trace them all out. Now, if you want to do these exact ones, what you could do is you can head over to my Patreon and you can pick up the files and support the show at the same time. But if there's a picture or design that you like better, all you need to do is bring it into Inkscape, use the pen tool, and trace out each colored section. Then go back with the adjustment tool and fix all the curves and angles. Now, there are other design programs that you can use to create files like these. Me personally, I just like using Inkscape, one, because it's free and so I can put it on any computer that I'm working on. But for me, one of the reasons why I like Inkscape is because when I first started this making journey, Inkscape was the program that I initially learned on. So there is that sense of familiarity with it that I don't have with any other vector-based program. Not to say that those programs aren't equally good or better, this is just the one that I'm most familiar with. When you're in the design program, one thing to keep in mind is that each laser cutter is different. Some laser cutters are based on thickness of the line to determine whether they're vectors or rasters. Now for mine personally, it's color based. So anything I want to engrave is in black, anything I want to etch is in blue, and anything I want to cut is in red. But check with your own machine and your own program and make adjustments accordingly. So engraving walnut is something that I have never done before. I've engraved all different other kinds of wood, but walnut is one that I hadn't ventured into. So I didn't know exactly what power settings and what speed I needed to use on my laser cutter in order to get an effective grade on the walnut. Now every laser cutter is different, so the one that you use may be different than mine. But for mine specifically, the K40 variety, I used 5 power and 300 speed. And that gave me the depth and detail that I wanted without burning the wood. So once I figured that out on my test piece, I went on to doing it with the real thing. When I started this project, I was using the acrylic paint to paint onto the walnut. But as I was putting the layers on, I realized that the color was a little bit more muted than I wanted them to be. So what I did is I switched over to these acrylic paint pens. And honestly, I don't know what the paint difference is between the acrylic paint pen and the acrylic out of the bottle, but these gave me a much brighter and vibrant color that I was going for. So I ended up using these a lot more than I did the acrylic paint. And here they are. I really like how they turned out. I mean, they're a different take on the Ninjago projects that I've done in the past, but these are gonna make a great addition to all the Ninjago stuff that my son has. One thing that I realized after I had finished this project that I do want to warn you about is not to put too much conditioner on the wood before you etch and paint it. My problem was that I over-conditioned the wood, which makes it look fantastic, but it also makes the painter's tape really hard to stick to the wood before you put it in the laser cutter. And if you put too much conditioner on the wood beforehand, it's really easy for the paint after it dries to chip or flake off. So something to keep in mind if you do this project yourself. And if you do end up doing this project yourself, tag me on Instagram when you post it. You can support projects like these and ones that are coming in the future by becoming a patron, buying some of my seriously geeky shirts, or the best way you can support what I do is by sharing this video. And until next time, go build a good story.